Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the We Heart Bobby channel. I believe that we are in a bit of a slang golden age, if you will. It feels like every other day there's a new slang term coming out and everybody's saying it, and most people understand it except for me. For the most part, I do enjoy slang. It's a fun way to kind of let people know that you're hip and let people know that you're with the times. With all this slang coming out, with all these new words, there's a case to be made that maybe we are moving too fast. Maybe we are leaving some slang behind a little bit too quickly. So today I'm going to go over a bit of a case study that I've been working on. I've got a few modern slang terms and a counterpart from a different time period to kind of compare and contrast the two. See which one maybe we should use moving forward. Should we bring any back? Should we just leave them in the past? That's kind of the goal of this video, and that's pretty much it. So the first slang that I'm going over is clock it. This one I didn't know about. My girlfriend started saying it, so it kind of just like manifested inside of myself. And TikTok has an algorithm that is based on what you're listening to. I guess it hears you, and all of a sudden, clock it started blowing up on my page, and now it's all I see. This term, I don't really know the origin of it. I don't really know where it came to be. I know that it was on Love Island, I think. It's basically saying like you've told someone how it is, or maybe they have a good outfit, or like oh, clock it, girl. I don't really know. That's why this comparison may be a little bit of a reach. I came up with darn tootin' to kind of compare to this one. I feel like there's kind of examples that I could use to where you could use both of these in kind of a social setting. So I'm gonna try my best to show you why I chose darn tootin' to try and replace clock it. Ooh, girl, I love that shirt. Yes, girl, clock it. Ooh, girl, I love that shirt. Yes, girl, darn tootin'. That's why they didn't give you your shoulder decals, you broke ass hoe. Ooh, girl, clock it. That's why they didn't give you your shoulder decals, you broke ass hoe. Ooh, girl, darn tootin'. So with those examples, maybe you kind of understand where my head's at. As far as replacing clock it, I don't think darn tootin' is going to get over on them. Clock it does have the fun hand gesture, so that kind of already hurts the you know. Or maybe if you did like the darn tootin' with that, you could get away with it. But I think we're going to stick with clock it on this one. The next one that I'm going to go over is crash out. This is basically like losing it. This is you're having a crash out. This is losing it. This is getting mad. This is getting angry. For this one's an easy one for me. I say it at least once a week. Come apart. I'm a big fan of come apart. Having a come apart. I think it's fun. I think it's a fun alternative to saying crash out. Pretty much the same thing. You're having to come apart. You're coming apart at the seams with anger. You're seething. However, I do believe that crash out is probably going to take the edge on this one. As fun as come apart is to say, I think crash out just kind of gets the point across a little harder. I think come apart is reserved for 60-year-old men and myself. You don't really crash out. You just come apart. I don't know. I just think come apart's funny to say. So the next one I'm going to go over is locking in. Locking in is pretty much focusing, you're locking in on something. You're focusing really hard on something, trying to get it done. The one I came up with for this one is buckle down. I'm a huge fan of buckle down. Alternatively, I almost went with cowboy up. But I feel like that one's reserved for like a special kind of locking in. You know what I mean? So I went with buckle down, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm a huge fan of buckling down. I mean, you got to buckle down and you got to get this done. You got to buckle down and finish your homework. I love buckle down. I think I'm going to give the point to buckle down. I think locking in is kind of overplayed. I think we've seen it enough. I think it's time for buckle down to kind of make the comeback. The next one I came up with is kind of a reach as well, but I feel like as the times change, words change as well. Performative male is the slang I'm going with here. You know, that's kind of your labubu wearing, matcha drinking, you know, big button down over the white tank top. You get the starter pack, you know. So the old slang that I came up with for this one is poser. Now it's not like dead and old. Like it's still used. Like the skateboard community, it's still used. However, I think poser is way better than performative male. I think performative male almost kind of bolsters your ego, like you're performing, like it's almost like what they want you to call them. However, when you're kind of looking at something like poser, it's an insult, you know? I think that if we start calling performative males posers, I think we get somewhere. I'm a big fan of poser. I think performative male, it's done to death. If you see somebody wearing a labubu and reading Atomic Habits, then hit them with a poser and see how they react. I bet you they're not going to be happy. Cooked. That's a big one. This guy's cooked. I'm so cooked. I think that there's a few ones that you can kind of go with because cooked kind of has different meanings. Like someone's cooked, they look bad. Someone's cooked, they haven't done any of their schoolwork for 3 months. There's different definitions. So I went with you're in a pickle. You haven't done your homework and it's due tomorrow and you know it's going to take you more than like 2 hours to get done. You're in a pickle. You get a flat tire and you're stranded 30 minutes from home. You're not cooked, you're in a pickle. I think that you're in a pickle has a time and a place. However, I believe that cooked is going to get a very slight edge. I think cooked is a good word to use, but when it's a super serious situation, I think it evolves from being cooked into a pickle. So like I said, cooked's going to get the point. I think it's more versatile. I think it gets more done than you're in a pickle. But that's not to be said that you're in a pickle should be slept on. I think that in certain cases where cooked doesn't even do it justice, you're in a pickle, man. Now the next one is Riz, Rizz. I think this one has been done to death. With the Rizzler and the Riz face, and Baby Gronk has Riz. I think it kind of got drugged through the mud, and it's time for a change. I think we should return to calling it game. I think we should say someone has game. I think that it sounds a little bit better with all of the stigma around Riz. Like I said, it's done to death. I think we should maybe take it back. Let's bring it on home to this guy's got some serious game. Now, if you've been paying attention, if you've been keeping score at home, we are currently tied up at 3-3. And that kind of brings me to the granddaddy of this discussion. 6'7" or 69. You know, as someone who's a big fan of saying 6'7", but also enjoyed a good 69 back in the heyday, I think this is a super hard one to really nail down. I feel like there's a place for both of them, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is if I had to choose one, which one am I going with? And I'm going to be honest, folks. I think that it is time for 69 to reclaim its throne. I think 6'7" is hilarious. It is a amazing rage bait. I think that we should return to 69. Nice. I think it's time to let 6'7" go out to pasture, you know, with the weird kid with the weird hair. As if I don't have really weird hair. So, we're going to finish this thing off. Old Slang taking the slight W with a big 69 win. If you want to see me go over some more slang and maybe compare and contrast some more, just let me know in the comments. I'm hoping to make a few more videos, but I've got a pretty big one planned. I don't really know if I'm going to get it done. I'm kind of lazy, and I have these short spurts of energy that kind of results in my 1 to 2 month YouTube phase. If you enjoyed this video, like, subscribe, comment some slang you want me to do in the next one. This has been Weehart Bobby. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.